All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Emily from the Common Good City Farm Leaf Youth Program. And today we are going to talk about fall leaves and how to do a cool leaf rubbing art project. So we do our Instagram lives every Sunday at 4:30. So thank you for joining us today. We are also doing youth lessons on Zoom on Wednesdays. So if you have kids that might be interested in that, feel free to send us an Instagram message or email us to let us know, and we can get you all the details for that. But again, thank you for joining us today on our fall leaf lessons. We're going to talk about leaves changing in the fall. This time of year, it starts to get very pretty outside if you live in a neighborhood with a lot of trees. And so we're going to talk a little bit about why that happens, why our leaves change colors, and then we're going to use some of the leaves from the trees to do a little art project. So this time of year, there is a lot of seasonal change on the farm. Lots of things that are different in the fall to winter than in our summer, and we are seeing that in our fruit orchard as well. We are starting to, and we have been seeing changes in our trees. They've been dropping some leaves, changing leaf colors, and you can also see that type of seasonal change in your neighborhood if you have some trees, or if you ever go to a neighborhood park and you can see that the leaves on the trees are changing. So I have some examples in front of me that I got from my neighborhood. We can see beautiful different shades, some that fall off still green, some shades of yellow, some shades of red. But so why do our trees drop their leaves? So our trees are getting energy from the sun, and they need a lot of water as well to keep the trees healthy. In the winter, it is a lot drier and the days are a lot shorter, so there's a lot less sunlight, energy, water for the trees. And they need a lot of energy to keep their leaves healthy. So one way for them to deal with the less energy of the winter is to drop the leaves. So the leaves' function uses sunlight. They produce chlorophyll, which is the green pigment. And so that's also why we're going to talk about why they change colors as well. Because it takes so much energy to keep green leaves, the plants want to preserve that energy for the main part that will survive into the next year. So they're preserving energy by dropping the leaves, and then they'll seal off those spots where the leaves were attached, and that will keep the trunk and the branches healthy until the next spring. But how does this affect the color of the leaves? So like I said, leaves get their color from pigment molecules. The main green pigment is called chlorophyll. These pigments have other reasons for being in the plant, but if we're just talking about visuals, what they do is they affect the color. The main pigment of leaves in spring and summer is that chlorophyll. They make that using energy from the sun. When there's plenty of sunlight and the plants make a lot, they look very green and fresh. So that's why, summertime, you go to the woods, everything is very green. But in the winter, that's not what you're gonna see. When it starts to get cold in the fall, some plants stop making that pigment because they don't have enough sun and energy. As it goes away, other pigments that were already in the plant can start to become visible. Things like our yellow pigment and our orange pigments. They were already there, but the green was overpowering them. You can also form new pigments in a leaf through sunlight and other factors. So that's how you get some of the other colors as well. You can get all sorts of colors. You can even get leaves that have multiple colors on one leaf. You can see this one's a really nice set of colors. As they break down the chlorophyll, they can move it out of their leaves and into the parts of the tree that are going to need that energy for winter. This saves energy, and it also saves those molecules for the pigment in the tree over the winter, so that when they start back trying to grow new leaves and make them green in the spring and summer, they don't have to start just from scratch. So they want to move all of the nutrition they can into the main trunk and base of the plant, so that they can make it through the winter when they don't have as much sun and water to keep their energy up. So that's what's happening with the trees, and what I like to do this time of year is explore those fall leaves by going on a leaf walk. So I went for a leaf walk yesterday, and I like to, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? But it's fun to take a walk with like a different purpose in mind. So if you're specifically going for a leaf walk and you think you might want to do this art project that I'm going to show you in a minute, then you want to make sure you take a bag or a basket or a bowl with you. And you're going to take a stroll through your neighborhood. We're lucky that DC has a lot of neighborhoods with a lot of trees. If your neighborhood doesn't have trees, if where you live you're not seeing those changing fall colors, think about looking for a neighborhood park. Or if you're in DC, look around. Maybe you could go to the Arboretum. Maybe you could go to Rock Creek Park and take your leaf walk there. You wanna, when you're taking your walk, if you have someone in your house that you can go with, I like to sort of make little challenges on my leaf walk. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for really pretty leaves that are on the ground. Even sometimes the green ones fall to the ground. But you can make little challenges, like you can say, oh, who can find the biggest leaf on the ground? And you can compare leaves. You can say, who can find a red leaf? And you guys can both keep walking and see who can find a red one first, or who can just find the prettiest leaf is a good question. So I'm always hunting for pretty leaves, finding different ones of all different shapes and sizes. So that's what I was doing yesterday. I was like, I wanted to have a lot of options for my art project, so I was looking for all different shapes, colors, and sizes. As you gather them, make sure to look up at the trees too and notice the differences, not just in the leaves on the ground and the colors you're finding there, but what do these trees look like? What's different between the different trees that you're seeing at your walk? But so I saw a lot of different trees. I got a lot of variety, and we're going to use some of these today for our leaf rubbing art. So once you have your leaves, you're going to want to gather your other supplies for the art project. So it's very simple. You're going to want some crayons, and what you might want to do, and what I've done with these, is you might want to peel off some of the wrapping. So these are just basic crayons. You can peel off just half of it if you'd rather, or you can peel off the whole thing like I did with this red one. For this project, we're gonna use the side, so you wanna make sure you get rid of some wrapper. You're also gonna want some paper. A smooth, thin paper is best for this, so copy printer paper is perfect. And you want a smooth surface. So when we do this with kids at the farm, our picnic tables are not a very smooth surface. So what we do instead is we use a smooth cutting board as a placemat, or we use clipboards that have a smooth surface. So if you have a table that's not very smooth, you might want to put something down on it. But luckily this bench in front of me is nice and smooth. All right, so now you're gonna select your first leaf. And some of these leaves are gonna be a little more delicate. They might crumble a little when you do your leaf rubbing. Some of these leaves you could probably hold up and do several leaf rubbings with them. But you're gonna wanna find a leaf that just looks pretty to you. And then you're gonna get your piece of paper. All right, so I got my piece of paper. I've got this leaf that looks pretty to me. So you can use, for this part, you're gonna add the color with the crayons. So you can use any of the color leaves and you're still gonna get a good effect. So I'm gonna use this nice green one and I'm gonna put it right here underneath this paper. And then I'm gonna take my blue crayon and you're gonna use the side of it and you're gonna kind of gently rub across the top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see the leaf veins emerge. We're gonna see the shape of the outside of the leaf edge, and we're gonna see all of the network of those veins. So the veins of a leaf, that's what keeps all of the water, minerals, and energy traveling between the leaf to the branches. And what you can see is you can see that they've shown up really nicely on this rubbing. So you've used the color to sort of show yourself even more in contrast how a leaf is formed. So what it's showing us is this nice stem part, which is actually called the petiole. And then it's showing us the network of veins, and we can really see them nicely. And then what you do is you choose another leaf, maybe a different shape, maybe the same. One thing I didn't say is when you feel a leaf, you'll probably notice that the veins stick out more on one side. It's helpful to put that side facing up when you put your paper over it. So now I'm gonna put it under my paper again, choose another color, and again, just kind of go across it. Some of them might crumble a little when you do this if they're a nice dry brown leaf, but that's okay. You can just still get a nice image and only use it once. Sometimes it might come out a really nice clear image of the leaf, and sometimes it might be a little harder to get, and that's okay too. So you can see I did another one right here, and you can see the shape, you can see all the vein structure and the pretty pointy shape of that leaf. What I like to do, because you're kind of rubbing around the edge, right? So you're gonna get some color on the edge that doesn't really show off the leaf. So what you can do is you can create sort of a collage effect. Let me find mine that I did earlier. Earlier I did a collage effect to make just kind of this nice piece of art that I could hang up on my fridge and just enjoy for this season. So this is one way. You can just keep layering all your leaves, kind of collage effect, put them over top of each other, not worry too much about where they overlap because you want it to just fill the page. The other thing you can do is you can just do each leaf separately and make sure they're not overlapping. You could do one here, you could do one here, but you would have them not touch each other. And then you could cut them out. And that would be a good way to turn them into another project. Something I like to do, here's a little example, is make a greeting card. So what I've done here is I had 2 leaves that I cut out and just used a glue stick and some folded paper to make a greeting card so that you can use your leaf art if you don't want to just have a piece of art to hang and you want something that you could use to turn into gifts. And I think they look really cool. You can think about the design of the different colors and all of that. So this art project is really quick and easy, but you can, if you have a big collection of leaves, you could do it for a while, right? You could keep checking different colors of leaves. You could keep seeing how each one turns out and which ones work the best for you, which shapes you think turn into the best art. This is also a good time to ask yourself questions like, can you find, which are the big veins? What's the biggest one in the middle? That's actually called the midrib. Are you gonna color the part that actually shows the petiole too, which is that stem part again? So showing that in your picture can be a choice that you can either show it or not, but it will make a really nice hard dark line. And then you're also just thinking about exploring the leaves as you're doing this art. So like, what shapes are you seeing? What parts are you seeing? How are some of these leaves the same? How are some of these leaves different? Those are really good questions to ask, both on your leaf walk and if you bring them home to do this leaf rubbing art project. So that is our project for today. Thank you for joining me to learn about leaves and to see what you can do with leaf rubbing art. I hope you will try it. Even if you just take the leaf walk, I think that's a really fun thing to do, but I also hope you get to make some art at home. So thanks again for joining us. I'm Emily with the Leaf Program at Common Good City Farm. And so we do these Instagram live lessons every Sunday at 4:30, so thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed it. All right, that's all.